Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Mike from Rock Bottom Brothers. How's it going? Today is really cool. We got our first podcast hosted by us, and today we're doing our first podcast with some friends of ours in a band out in Germany. Everybody say hi, please.
Hi.
Hello. How are you guys doing?
Actually, a band from Germany. The name of the band is ETECC, if I got that right, yeah?
Yes, sir.
And if you guys can maybe just kind of introduce yourselves and what instruments you play.
All right.
All right.
Okay, I'll start.
Yes,
my name is Suhaib, and I play guitars, lead guitars to be precise.
My name is Mark. Hi, I play guitar.
Yeah, my name is Timo. I play the drums in ETECC, and the name is ETECC, by the way. But you spelled it correctly.
Okay.
ETECC.
Yeah, I wanted to confirm with you guys how that was pronounced.
Right.
But so today we're doing a podcast with the band. Now this is actually our second podcast because what we're doing is we're trading off podcasts. And the first podcast we did was hosted by you guys, and you kind of interviewed me. And we thought, well, what'd be cool to return the favor and do a podcast featuring you guys. Really,
that's true.
Yeah, I appreciate that for hooking up with us in the first place and asking me to do a podcast with you guys. So
yeah, and thanks for having us also.
Definitely.
Always a pleasure to speak with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Since our last podcast, we've kind of communicated a bit more, and it's good to get to know you guys, man. And learn more about you guys. So let's go ahead and kick it off with the questions.
Right.
First question is, how did this all start for you guys as a band? Like, how did you get together? How did you meet and decide, hey, it's cool to play in a band, let's start one?
You want to start, Timo?
Yeah,
Me?
Timo's job, yeah.
I'll
Alright.
go first.
Well, it was 2009, I think. And it was like end of 2009, I think. And I don't know. I just bought a drum kit, really. That's how it started. I mean, we I for some reason I wanted to play the drums. I didn't know how or anything, but I just bought one. And the other guys had guitars, and so we were hanging out at that time anyway. And
playing computer games and stuff.
Games.
That, and just had a lot of parties over at my house, and so we took the instruments over, and we had a lot of drinking parties and set up our stuff, and then basically we started jamming, and obviously no one could play really at all.
Play.
And so we just tried to play it.
We watched a lot of Metallica DVDs. That's what I remember. It's like we really like Metallica and the live shit DVDs of San Diego and whatever that part.
Yeah.
We watched that over and over, and then I remember we started out with acoustic guitars and we couldn't really play that well, just learned a bunch of riffs, and then Timo bought this, all of a sudden had this drum kit, and then we tried to play and write songs in his parents' basement, basically. Very tiny room.
So you guys were friends before you started playing music?
Yeah.
Mark and I, we were in the same school,
Same class,
and Timo, I don't know, we met him at playing games, I think.
Yeah, we used to do like LAN parties and all that, and that's how we got to know Timo through another friend, I guess.
Cool. And so the band formed, and how long did it take you guys to actually get serious about it and be like, wow, we're going to actually play our own songs and then play them out, like start performing?
Yeah, we had to get drunk a few times until we decided, okay, we can do something with the band and take it more serious. So I think one day we just went to search for a singer on a local forum.
Yeah, online board.
Yeah, an online board, and we had luck with our ex-singer, and since then, I think a couple months before that, we got our first rehearsal room. Is that right?
I'm not quite sure. I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we got the room before we even really were a band.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, we needed someone to sing
Yeah.
like the songs we wanted to play. And as Hype just mentioned, we posted it like posted something online, and 2 people applied.
Mm-hmm.
And we like the one dude we knew already, or I knew back then, and I was like, oh nay, I don't want to play with that dude. I don't like him at all. So the other dude turned out to be Ruven, our ex-vocalist and bassist, who was like a couple of years older back then, and could play and sing. And I remember, that's a funny little story. When he showed up for the first time at our rehearsal space, I remember that he wanted to jam with us, and I was so not confident back then that I refused to play with him because I couldn't play a whole song. I couldn't.
I mean,
really.
Like as I said, we just started jamming basically, and then we had the really cool room and the instruments set up, and it was perfect to party and jam.
Yeah.
But we were terrible, and then he came in and basically showed us what a click is, and
kind of like reined it in a little bit, or brought like.
Yeah, he was like very sorted and accurate and he wanted, like he was older than us, and he had already jammed with like a lot of bands, school bands and other bands after that, and so he was also like musically very much further than we were, and he showed us what a click is, how to record it all, and you guys maybe need to hold the tempo a little.
Yeah. So it wasn't. I mean, so it wasn't too long then. I mean, it sounds like that you guys kind of started getting it together, and then when did you play your first show?
2010, I think, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah,
2010. I think so. And we played that one in the basement of our rehearsal space. It was a bigger complex, so that huge basement that used to be a club before.
Yeah.
And someone started another club there, like a biker club or whatever.
Biker club, yeah.
And they invited us to play there, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that was our first show, and there were like 200 to 300 people in this basement, which was very weird.
That's pretty good turnout for your first show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was surprising. I mean, how long did it take us from rehearsing with Ruven to the first show? How much was it? How long was it? Like
I think
a month.
I think a few months. No, a little bit more.
More than that.
2 months.
Half a year, maybe.
Half a year, yeah. And we only played, I think, like 3 or 4 of our own show songs. And the rest
covers.
All covers, yeah.
That's usually how bands start off, right? Like you learn your favorite songs, and then learn how to play those, and then eventually start writing your own stuff. And where exactly was where do you guys consider your hometown, your home city?
Our hometown is Wolfsburg, and you probably know it from Volkswagen.
The car, VW.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like, here's the main factory, and this whole city is built because of this Volkswagen factory.
Oh, interesting. So the city is supported by the brand, the car brand.
Yeah, and the city is, I think, 75 years old.
Oh, okay.
That's like nothing for Europe.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys all met in that town, pretty much?
Yeah.
And we all lived on the same, like a couple of kilometers away from each other. So yeah.
So you talked about your favorite bands. You mentioned Metallica. Who are some of your guys' other influences, band-wise?
Metallica.
Pantera is the biggest other influence, I'd say. Yeah.
Gojira for sure.
Gojira, yeah.
I really like Down and Caius as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we also like blues stuff, like Stevie Ray Vaughan and whatever else is there. So
that's interesting, because a lot of those bands are have been around for a long time. I mean, it's like Pantera, Metallica, obviously they're heavyweights in the metal scene.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of good bands that have come up since then. But I find it interesting that you guys are very influenced by, some of the innovators, the first innovators of the genre.
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about this earlier. I mean, you're much older than we are, and still for us, you've seen Pantera live. We didn't get a chance to, obviously because we're from Germany too. But so we still love those bands, of course, and Metallica. I mean, that's how we started, and then Pantera got on top of that, and then once you are hooked by those bands, you get in deeper and deeper, and then we got more into I don't know, Van Halen, or newer bands like Gojira and Lamp of God, and all those things, and the usual stuff. We also into stoner rock quite a bit. I mean, I personally probably into most, like, a lot of music, except for maybe rap. German rap.
Since we're talking about that, what's your guys' opinion on, say the current state of metal today? I mean, and Germany may be different than America as far as what's the popularity of it. Are there is there a big influence of metal? What's your guys' opinion, being a primarily metal band? What's your opinion on the current metal scene right now? Does it suck?
Maybe
I mean, it's like, does it suck? Is it great? I mean, are you guys being influenced by it or inspired by it right now? Or are you just kind of getting by with the current bands and stuff?
That's a tough question. Metal scene. Like here, for example, I can tell a little bit about our hometown, and like nothing is going on in the metal scene. It's kind of dead. Like we have one small club where it's the only possibility to play right now, and it's like 20 people there, and that's it sometimes.
How big is the city that you guys are based out of?
120,000 people.
Okay.
So it's like a middle town. It's not that small, but the scene is kind of dead. And I think also in Hanover, where Timo's living right now, it's also not that different, right?
Well, I think it's more of the rural areas. Although we're from a city, we're like we're not really the north of Germany, like Hamburg or anything, where a lot of shit is going on. But the towns are quite quiet. And even here in Hanover, it's better because we got bigger clubs here, and Trivium and all those kind of bands stop by. It's not too bad here, really. But like if you have a band yourself, there's one or two clubs. I feel like the general thing is there's fewer and fewer clubs that you can actually take over, make a show there, and just get booked. Getting booked is almost like the only thing that's really like gig exchange that the people do here, and that is not really the idea behind playing a show and getting going out of the show with a couple of bucks for the band in hand. Not saying that you need to make a lot of money, but just saying that maybe you have some spare $100 or euros left in your pocket after the show. So you basically have to do most of it yourself if you want to do it right and have some sort of income as a musician. And being booked is almost impossible, and there's fewer and fewer clubs here in Germany as well. Many die, and the ones that come back are not really directed into like, if anything, they're more towards like disco, normal pop music, rap, hip-hop, anything. And like the underground scene, I think, not saying like it's dying or dead, it's just getting there's fewer and fewer clubs that actually want to produce or feature music that is not like the mainstream.
I think also the reason for that is because it's so difficult to get people to the shows. Like that's what I've seen, and I think I know the reason for that. Like, to be honest, for example, most of the shows I don't really enjoy because the quality of the music is getting kind of bad, and I think it's because a lot of people can play shows today, and everyone can afford instruments. And like, for example, we started out very shitty. We couldn't play anything, and it was so easy to get a gig to play. And like back then we weren't that good, I think. So if you've seen us back then, maybe you think, I don't need to check this club again, or go and check them out. And I think this is a big problem in the metal scene right now, is that everyone can play a show, but most of them are just decent, maybe.
Uh-huh.
Like I've never been to a show where I was completely blown away with most of the bands. It's like maybe one band out of 5, and that's it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go. Yeah. Well, I think that's probably one of the bigger points. I mean, I'm not saying like anything or everything that we see nowadays. Not that we are like experts that could, judge this is good or bad.
It's taste anyway.
Yeah, it's tasting, right. but at the same time, I feel like that I don't know. There's what Hayab says is kind of true, because when you go to a show, often it's just bands that exchange gigs around, and the quality that you as a recipient and consumer get is just really not that great. And I mean, imagine like you pay in like 10 $15 to get in, and then you get some all right standard metal or music. I mean, you guys are not necessarily doing metal, but you know what I mean, like you get some mediocre stuff that is okay, and then you wonder like, okay, why should I even go? I'm just gonna go see the big band. At the same time, big bands are just drawing more people in general, obviously, and the problem there is that smaller bands have it tough at the beginning anyway also, and it's not necessarily a matter of if they're good or bad. I just think that it's a combination, everyone wants to have a band and be cool, but if the output is shit, it doesn't matter how many gigs you play. You just gotta realize that, I think. And also, if the quality sucks and there's fewer and fewer clubs, there's a reason for it. If I'm very, very sure that a lot of people just don't bother to go to the shows anymore. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like.
Well, I gotta be honest. Like, how many shows did we check out in the past where we didn't know the bands before? It's like I haven't been to a lot of shows lately in the last 1 or 2 years. I haven't been to shows where it's like I don't know the bands. Let's just go there and check them out. I haven't
like just
done
go
that,
on a whim, and you're like, wow, I just want to see something new. Let's see what else is out there.
Right. And I haven't really done that. The way I hear about new bands is mostly YouTube. I don't know, some maybe metal news sites or friends that are like, hey, you gotta check these guys out. They have whatever cool riffs, cool blah, something like that. So
yeah.
But why is that? Like, why don't we go to the shows
because it's
anymore?
easier than going somewhere.
Okay.
And
I mean, like,
you guys, like you guys, it might be because you don't want to waste your time like checking out on a whim, right? I mean, like you guys work like we do, and when you have nights to go out and check out bands, you want to go see something familiar instead of maybe take a chance on a new band. I mean, I feel that way too.
Yeah. Maybe because we are also musicians and have a different perspective on the whole thing. Maybe for a lot of people it's enjoyable to go to gigs and still see decent bands, and they are okay with it and have a lot of fun. Could be, but like for myself, I can say that I was mostly disappointed, so I don't bother anymore. Like you said, probably.
What do you guys think would be a good solution to energizing a metal scene in your hometown? If you had to lay a roadmap for not just your town but other towns, what would be a good solution? How could you add that value back to your scene? What would you guys suggest?
Make all the people who live there less comfortable and take a little bit of their money, so they get miserable enough to start a metal band.
Yeah, because every town has bands that suck in it. It's like that's kind of pretty common. So what would you suggest would be things that bands could try to enrich the music scene?
But what was the first part of the question again?
So like we all have our theories about why it sucks. So what would be, let's flip that and say, okay, what can we do as a music scene or as a band or each band to make it better? What could we do instead of saying, well, yeah, it sucks, so this, but so what could we do to turn it around?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, yeah, I think what can we do? I think what we can do, what's the easiest thing for us, is to make sure that we like what we put on our shows that we organize. I mean, every musician should know this. There's, if you make a show and you book a band just because they give you a gig somewhere, that's probably also going to be not that great. I don't know if it's worth, the risk of putting out mediocre music in your own live shows that you organize, because I mean that way, that way, I think you're shooting your own leg, kind of, because if you do that enough, then people, that's exactly the situation that we have right now. Like, people will not go to those shows anymore, I'm pretty sure, at least. And because, and I think we can control that a little bit. Like, if you get together with another band, just, maybe just make sure that you actually like their music and that people can dig it. And if it's not great, just don't put it out. But it's a personal thing, and if you're a fresh band, you just want to get out there. I understand that. And you just want to rock, and those guys are pretty cool. But pretty cool is just maybe not enough. If you think it's pretty cool, others that have nothing to do with that band that you're putting on the lineup probably think it's meh at best. But it's like, it sounds like we're talking down onto someone. So I just want to be careful and just not be an asshole to anyone. But I think that's one of the bigger problems. Like, if you can go around, and probably ask a lot of people why they don't go to underground shows anymore, and you'll probably get the answer that the bands are just not interesting or not good.
Do you think so? What I'm hearing a lot of is it's the quality of the music. It sounds like.
Yeah, not only the quality of the music, also the quality of the event. It's like most of the time just a lazy job they do. Like, they book bands, like 4 bands or 5, sometimes even 10, because they think more bands, more people.
Right.
But what you get is like 8 shitty bands and maybe 2 bands worth checking out, and you have to watch 30 minutes shows of 8 shitty bands.
Yeah.
And also, like, events, like, no one really puts effort in events anymore. It's like, you just come in, they want you to buy drinks, and that's it. That's what they offer. And we did some events back like 3 years ago, I think, or 4 years ago, and we tried to add more to it and not just leave it like most people do. I think this is some of the things that I would like to see, like more events, like real events.
Let me ask you this: do you think that bands could put on events of their own, and like, can bands take more control over who they gig with, how the event is set up, promotion? I mean, because you can't really control the quality of the band. The band's going to be what they were going to be, but you can control the amount of work.
That's what I meant.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant. Like, you can control who you put on the lineup if you are making the show yourself, and of course you can control everything, really. It's just that you need to do it. No one really wants to go through the effort, I guess. And what Hayab said is kind of how I feel as well. Make it. I think what's missing is more like the gig character. Like, that's a thing. I think back in the day it was much more special for people to go out and see a live band. Nowadays you can just put on Gojira Live on YouTube, and there you go. Technology has gotten so good nowadays that it's not as attractive anymore, I think, to go out if it's not like one of your favorite bands. But I think also that if you try to spice up things a little bit, maybe with thinking of some new stuff to do at those concerts. Maybe not just make it, yeah, here's 4 bands, I want money for it and enjoy, and 2 of them are shitty. You know, maybe make it something, I don't know, make it a small festival, or make it like a party with bands live. You know, think about what you would like to go to when you are you know,
put yourself
looking
in the
for
fans,
something
in the fans' perspective.
Yeah, put yourself in the position of the fans, obviously, because yeah, is it really that attractive to go somewhere and you know, just look at 4 bands
right
for 4 hours?
Yeah.
I mean, if they are okay-ish, just to do them a favor. I mean, no one wants to do anyone a favor on their Saturday night out. I don't think.
That's definitely some good suggestions. I think that what you guys are talking about is very common in a lot of the music scenes. That's funny because you guys are way over there in Germany, I'm way over here in Arizona, and the themes are the same. You know, the themes are always the same about like the music scene and you know, how it can be better and the things that we'd like to see implemented in the scene. It's crazy how like you guys have the same you bring up the same points that I would, or that the people here would, you know.
Okay.
So that's really interesting.
Yeah. How is it over there? Is it exactly the same, or
I mean,
are people struggling, or
you know, the metal scene here is pretty good.
Okay.
But there's always things that, you know, every town that has a music scene wish they could do better. I mean, personally, I wish that bands would take more control over their own promotion and more control over their own shows. You know, and I think the reason why a lot of bands don't do that is because it's a lot of work to do that.
Yeah.
And
of course,
it's a lot of work to promote, and it's a lot of work to organize that, and none of that has to do with writing songs, you know. So
yeah, exactly. Maybe this is also a good point. I mean, you know,
that's
thing
true.
is, nowadays I think being in a band is just more than you know, jamming and rocking out. I mean, that might have been the thing, or how things went in the 70s or 80s even. But I mean, nowadays you got to do everything, man. If you want to cut through the noise and be something special. I mean, look at this shit we're doing. We're discussing this, so maybe other people have, you know, get an idea, or can relate to it, or you know, have the same struggle, and we're trying to reach out to them to be stronger in the end. This is something that, you know, there's certain bands that would never think about this, and not that we're so cool or so amazing. It's just that we I think we've always tried to bring our band out somehow, because we weren't really that good musically when we started, and so we had to, you know, but we knew where we wanted to go for some reason, and you know, we always thought I don't want to really say we weren't really musicians in the first place, but that came later, you know, and we always had both going on, because we had to struggle to get better at the music, you know, to play our instruments, and also with all the other stuff. So for us, it wasn't, you know, we were just full musicians that just wanted to play music all the time. You know, we were interested in having a cool gig for the people that came, and you know, how can we promote this shit more, you know, and like, you know, how can we get wine on the catering list and shit like that, you know, and all that stuff, and how can we make a cool event with this band, and how can we do that and use that to our advantage, and make another event there, and all that stuff. And I don't know, maybe I'm very sure other bands do the same thing, and we're nothing special, to be honest. I'm just saying that nowadays it's just not enough to just be a musician. I'm very sure of this. Like, if you're very, very good, obviously that's like, it's easier, you know, but you have to be able to expand.
I have a good example for this topic.
Well,
one thing we saw a lot is because the shows are kind of like, most of the shows are from bands. Like, bands do events because they want to exchange gigs and stuff like that. So the equipment, for example, the light equipment, is not there. There is no light, and bands just play in the dark, or there's one spotlight.
Well, not in the dark, but
yeah, like
really bad
or
lighting.
yeah, bad lighting, and no one thinks about it, and
it's very static.
Like one day we start to think about, okay, what can we do to make the experience better for the people?
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, when you go to a show, then the light is one of the
lighting.
Yeah, the lighting, is one of the most
important things.
Well, it's
things
visual. It's
visual.
Like in the foreground. Like we were watching bands, and we were checking out a band called Drone. That's from our region, kind of. They're pretty big here for regional band. They're pretty big. And they had a really good light show and good sound. And so that was one of the first bands where we actually stood there. We were noobs, and we were just standing there. And all the other bands, even like bigger bands, at a small festival, that's where we were. Even bigger bands, they didn't really blow us away at all. And then those guys came, and they had a really good sound, good songs, and pretty cool light show. And so that they kind of. We knew those guys put a lot of effort into it, and so we started, thinking about how can we get that lighting, or how can we make it so that we can always take our own, so we're not dependent on what's there.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key point, because when we went to those small clubs, at the start you're gonna play small clubs. So what can you do to cut through the noise?
Yeah.
The first is the easiest thing. The first thing you think of is the visual, and that is lighting. And then sound, maybe. And sound is it's more important, but it's not as critical for the viewer. If there's a huge light show, it's actually more obvious for the spectator than a good sound. So band-wise, sound is more important, but if you want to make an impression, the visual is more important. I would say.
That's an interesting point. That's pretty interesting, because you're right. Like musicians and bands, the first thing they want, good sound, so they can hear. And that makes total sense. That's what you want. But for the fan and the viewer out there, they're probably a little more forgiving about sound. Like they probably don't care if you can't exactly hear every kick drum hit.
Exactly, and more importantly, they don't even really notice that much, because they aren't musicians. They perceive the music a little bit different.
Yeah.
Some of them might be musicians, but I'm not saying it's not important, and they're stupid. It's just they perceive it differently. If you are in the audience and you're not necessarily in the band, it's different. And if you have to choose, do the lighting first and get a solid sound. And I'd say the second step is to have a really crisp sound, and then it's good. But I think that's what I wanted to say is all the other bands that we went to in the small clubs, there was only the static light, shit light hanging from the stage, and it was just static, on off, white light, and we thought, like, how can we change this? So we bought light, and we were no longer dependent on the shit technical specs of the club, basically. And we wanted to be more independent from what people gave us.
That's a good pointer for bands out there. If we want to give suggestions on what bands can do, that is really a good thing to do, is to not be dependent on if the show is really big to you and you want to make a good impression, hire your own lighting, get a sound guy, take steps on your own to make sure that you have control over those things, because it is kind of depressing when you have this show and you've been practicing all these weeks, and then you go to it and it's just it's like you said, bad lighting, and the sound is crappy, and drinks are expensive or something like that. I mean, it does kind of kick you in the ass when you have an experience like that, I think.
Right. And one more thing maybe for this, if you want to do it even better, I'd strongly suggest you take that in your own hands. You get a friend or someone you trust, or someone that doesn't cost $200 a night, that is going to maybe read up on just be a bit creative. Think of some of your friends that might be interested in it. Take the lighting shit into your own hands. Maybe someone is interested, a friend, you buy the stuff, he reads up, and is the light tech all of a sudden. Like he does it 10 gigs, then he's got the solid shit down. Then he's going to be okay for it. It's going to be good enough for the clubs you play. And then you're always independent, or you do it yourself. You program the lighting, or whatever, and you can, if you just have the basics, the basics, then you're independent, and you can also then tell if others, like technicians in the club that you're playing, if they're doing a good job or not, kind of.
Yeah.
You can at least kind of tell or have a general idea about the whole thing. So it's always good to be independent of the club or of anything else, because you're going there and you don't know what's coming, and the more you have in your own hands, the more control you have, and that will basically come out in the live show.
Yeah, I agree.
So don't be lazy, guys.
Don't be lazy. Be more. So now that let's kind of move over into your discussion about being more than just a band. I wanted to ask you guys a couple questions. You guys started podcasting recently, and you've been putting out a lot of content on YouTube. That's how I found you guys. And so what's your guys' theory on why you're doing all of that? What's your, why start a podcast? Why do all the video and the vlogging? Let me ask you guys that question. Why is it important to you to do all those things, and get your name out there? What drives you guys to do that, or what drove you guys to start doing that stuff?
Hayab, maybe to start.
So first of all, we like to talk about everything, and for example, we had this quite a lot of times that we just met Friday, not going out, but just met somewhere, and we drank some beers and we talked about everything, and we thought about different stuff, and for example about lighting and how to get better in general, and so in general we like to talk and think ahead. And when we started to vlog and show everything on YouTube, then it kind of came naturally that we wanted to also document the talks we had with everybody. And we met a lot of interesting guys over the years, and that is all not recorded, unfortunately. And now we want to change it. And I personally think it's really interesting to talk to people from Australia or from US like you. And it's really interesting.
Go on. Okay. Well, we basically, when we had to let our singer go, we had basically a time where we couldn't play shows, and still have at the moment. And so we thought, okay, we need to fill this time. And the thing that we wanted to do for a long time, we thought about this, as Hayab said. We also, we talk about everything, even the shittiest idea. You can at least go it through, fool around a little bit, and then maybe something comes out of it. I mean, the worst that can happen is nothing happens out of it.
Right.
It's retarded idea, and we shouldn't do it. And that's the worst that can happen, literally. And so we go through everything. We talk about a lot of stuff. We just fuck around with ideas. And the thing that we wanted to do for a long time was actually, putting out more video content. And something was always blocking us, kind of, where no one wanted to take it into their own hands. It needed to be perfect, and we thought it has to be perfect before we upload it. And so we thought, okay, we'll take this as a breaking point, kind of, where we now that our singer's gone, we can't play gigs. Let's use this time to get into to get this whole video shit going. And so we did that and got into it. Took it into our own hands. How to edit? I mean, even I know how to edit videos now, and I never thought I could do that. And Yeah, so we did all that, and we said we want to make the band completely transparent now, because we figured out that no band is currently, vlogging or sharing anything. They just want to be portrayed in their best possible light.
Yeah.
They just want to show the fat show with 100,000 people, but not the smaller club gigs. And I think it's not smart to not show this, because or at least we're going to give it a try, because we also said that before we not put out any videos, let's just make it as transparent as we can and see if that works, because we have a lot of shit to tell. There's a lot of stuff that we do in the background, and we always were complaining like, yeah, all the stuff that you do for a show and that we do in the background, and the people just see 45 minutes of your show, and they don't even know. But if you don't show it, how should they know, basically? And so we thought, okay, let's not whine and cry and bitch. So let's put everything out there. Let's be transparent. Maybe people will appreciate it, and maybe other bands will jump the ship, not jump the ship, jump on the wagon and join us. And maybe it opens up more opportunities. And when we're back to playing shows, then we're already set and we're already here, and we already know how it's done. And then we can put out the cool shows that other bands just want to show.
Yeah, and
we'll have both. We'll have our whole journey and story portrayed, because that's also the struggle that why we are still in the band right now. It's not a good time at the moment, but we don't even think about quitting.
Yeah, and that's a good point. That's what I really like about what you guys are doing, is that you have downtime right now. You're still looking for a singer and working those details out, but you're still pumping out content. You're still putting out videos. So in essence, you may not be playing shows actively, but you're still gaining fans. I mean, your YouTube subscribers keep going up. And you're still gaining fans, even though you guys aren't actively out in the scene right now.
Oh yeah, that's one of the good points. We haven't put out like music, which is kind of the main product, and things seem to work, at least a little bit for us.
Yeah, and you're still attracting people to who you guys are, and a lot of, I think, bands should learn that there's value in that. If bands take breaks and stuff, they just shut down. Not even post on Facebook. Like, where are these bands?
I mean,
but you guys are doing a great job of that. You guys are doing a great
actually
job.
almost also killed us. I mean, we're not almost, but we're thought about if we don't. Sorry, this is loud. If we don't make this change, we can actually quit. So we made the change. Sorry. And then we basically agreed on not quitting, and so we said basically let's use this time to grow a channel or something. Let's do something at least.
Do something, yeah.
And I mean, we started with 50 subs and we just hit the 300 subs, but you got to take into consideration that this is a very, very niche channel. Like, we're a band, and you can only see like the behind the scenes of a band you don't know from Germany, metal. I mean, it can't get more uninteresting for normal people.
We're not pretty. It's like on top
very
of that.
pretty. So I think that's a good. I mean, it's at least something. And when we're back to playing shows, we have those. Maybe when we're back, maybe 500,000 subs, and we can go and kick ass. And
you have that foundation already. Of putting out content, and you guys already know how to do it, and other bands who aren't doing it have to start from scratch to learn how to do it. And I think that's a good advantage that you guys have, even though you're not playing out right now, that when you do start playing out, you already have the cogs in the machine in place. You know how to do it, and that's a big advantage. And I think a lot of bands can learn from that.
And we can't wait until we start
Man, we
get
just
gigs again.
And
because we already also know how to play gigs and how to get a lot of gigs and how to tour, and I think this will be a content machine that produces a lot of content, hopefully very interesting for people to watch.
At least your fans. It's interesting for your fans to watch, and you guys keep gaining new fans and subscribers, so that's good.
Let's hope it works out the way we planned it. I mean,
So let me segue that into another question. What are your goals, say, in the next year or 2 years, and then 5-year goal? What's your goals as a band and as a media, let's say a media company? I mean, you kind of all do it all together. So what are your goals?
find a singer.
Yeah, we first of all need a vocalist again.
Yeah.
That is something we definitely have to figure out or organize then, at least for me, for play shows and write and put out music again. That is something, because it feels like we're not, I mean, the videos and all that are cool, but the main band thing is like putting out music and playing shows, at least for me, and I'm sure for the others as well, even though the other stuff's like a lot of fun. And then, like, I don't know if you have noticed, like on the side we started like a couple of months ago, started to like build websites for other people, produce videos, and we are going to do a documentary about a guitar company in Poland in August. Is that August? Yeah, in August. So that is something that we do on top of the band stuff, and that we think like are planning on doing way more of.
Yeah. I mean, maybe maybe Hype can say something to that.
We are about to open our own company for stuff like that, for the stuff now for other people, to help them, because we already learned so much over the years with the band and touring and or producing content for YouTube, that we can already use that to make a living maybe, and grow something, so we can be more independent, and so we can have more time
to at least generate some like extra income on the side. It's like we're not helping other bands like getting famous or whatever, but like small businesses or private people that need homepages or videos or something else.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, maybe we can snatch your audience, because we just recently started this, and it's we're starting to get more and more customers with this small business thing, kind of, and we're basically a media agency now. That everything that we had to do for the band, we can now use, maybe to, to sell and help someone else doing it.
Yeah, you guys have built up a really good skill set that is applicable to not just your music, but you can help small businesses or other businesses learn how to put videos out and create websites and stay updated, because a lot of businesses need that kind of help. And now that you guys have learned those skills, I mean, it's really valuable to have. Wouldn't you guys agree, to do all that stuff?
I would. I got a funny like very short story. I just applied for an internship like a week ago or something. And they looked at my resume and my CV and all that stuff, and they also checked out my YouTube videos, for example.
Oh, damn.
And that's the first thing they said, because I got my own YouTube channel as well, where I like vlog and do some, I don't know, fun stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, you really checked it out and you still called me? And they're like, yeah, we really like that you do like that kind of stuff, and tell me about your band experiences and all that. So like even there, it applied, like it was like worth something, like interesting that we did that. And especially the like media agency thing that we started now was definitely a bonus for them too. It's like, it was cool that you like got your own thing going, blah blah blah. So a lot of stuff that we learned with the band, definitely like
it helps.
It's helpful in other areas as well, where people like, all right, like they did something on top of whatever else.
Exactly. It's like and also we basically now do anything a customer wants, from a website to social media service for them, to events, organizing event, whatever they need. So if you need anything, we can hook you up. But that aside, that's all the band stuff basically. And okay, I went to university to study event management, but still we were interested in that stuff. We did our own shows because we couldn't get any basically. So it's kind of what we did with the band, and now we're trying. We just made a small company, and we just start like with the band. Just start.
Yeah, just start. And having the ability to do all those things obviously has been seeping into your own lives outside of the band, and it's really cool that another reason why you should learn how to create content. And I'm a big fan of that, and obviously you guys are too. So it's not just for the band, but it also helps you out in other ways. So very cool. Let me ask you guys a couple more questions here. Let me get specific about videos and stuff like that. Facebook now is really getting into video. Obviously, they're really trying to compete with like YouTube and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In your opinion, what is the best thing to do if you want to grow your subscribers on YouTube? Do you, or in general, do you post your videos in as many platforms as possible, like Facebook and YouTube and, Instagram snippets?
Yeah.
What's your opinion on that?
We are trying some stuff out. Like we try to find the best strategy to do that. Because obviously if you post a YouTube link on Facebook, just a fraction of your followership will see it.
Yeah.
So it's not really good. It doesn't work. So what we try to do is post a video, like a native Facebook video, and that works a lot better. So we do like snippets, and then if you're like, you watch the snippet, and if you're interested, you just click on the YouTube link and or check out the channel, the YouTube channel, and then you can watch all the stuff. But I think you gotta treat every platform different.
Yeah.
So if you create something for YouTube, doesn't mean that you have to put it on Facebook also, because it might not work for Facebook.
Yeah.
I don't know. For some reason, for me, distribution is the most boring part of the whole thing. Like you create a video and it's like all good, and then you gotta like figure out when to post on Instagram and like post as much as possible and use the right links and the right times. And on Facebook, it's got to be different than a video. And like on YouTube, we're just
one of our weak points.
Yeah, it is definitely. Yeah, I was just about to say that if there's someone out there who'd like to do that for us, you're welcome, because that's a boring part.
It's a lot of work.
But it's but we are just trying to like figure it out on YouTube as well, where we like with the podcast, for example, we plan to like cut out a bunch of snippets and then just put them out. Like no matter what the people might think, it's just to maybe reach one or two more people that might watch.
You gotta understand how Facebook works. If you just, as Hype said, if you just post your link, hey, our new vlog is up, it will not even be shown to most people. So what you want to do is you want to make a small trailer of the YouTube video, upload it on Facebook as a Facebook video, or the whole thing. It's up to you, really.
Always think about creating value for the consumer. Always. Like if you have, for example, a video that is 20 minutes on YouTube and the whole video is cool to watch, it doesn't mean that Facebook will appreciate it, because YouTube is, I don't know, the platform for me, for example. It's like, okay, I have time now. I just go through my subs and I check some videos out. I watch them and I have time. On Facebook, it's like, and Facebook is like you just take out your phone and check whatever because you're bored. Think about it.
Yeah. Do you think that most of the people that follow you, do they follow you more on Facebook, or do they watch your YouTube videos? Where are your fans, and where are they coming from?
Like we started out to push Facebook hard at the beginning because that was the bigger platform at that time. Like currently I think we're pushing more YouTube, but I can't really say where we have the most fans. It's really hard.
I think it's different like people actually.
Yeah, different people.
Because a lot of our like fans on Facebook are people that we like played for or have known for a long time, but they don't watch and that's another like issue maybe, whatever, because we're from Germany, but we put out English content. Like a lot of people that follow us on YouTube, at least that's what I feel like, don't watch our English content on YouTube. So it's
I think it's very different. People are all over the place, and different people use different media, and I think that we started with Facebook only because it kind of was one of the only things that were big in Germany. And nowadays we have different, but we have different people on YouTube watching the stuff, obviously. And Facebook is just I just don't like the platform at the moment, really. Like I personally, because everything's getting spammed to shit and.
Because you liked all the shit pages.
I've already cleaned it up very much, and I don't know. It's still, you see all this stupid stuff, and I mean, YouTube is a much higher quality of if someone watches your video, it has a much more value than someone reading a post on Facebook. I mean, you just got to use them all together to profit the most. Some people are just on Facebook; they aren't on our YouTube channel, and that's fine. And some people are on the YouTube and they don't even use Facebook that much anymore. And it's different from person to person, and you just got to use them all and utilize them all and use them correctly, I'd say.
Yeah. One thing that we are trying to do right now is, like, on top of Facebook and YouTube and all that, we are trying to, or we'll try to, like, push out the podcast we do on our homepage to use it. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with Tim Ferriss as well, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
You heard of? Yeah. Like the way he does it, like he puts out a new episode, there's like a ton of show notes, links, books, people they talked about and all that, and it's going to like improve your website SEO as well.
Yeah.
So we could basically, or we can basically use our website way better with like new content and the podcast and all that, and that's something we are going to do.
Yeah, I think your own website, it can be overlooked quite easily these days.
Yeah.
And because you have Facebook and all these other platforms, but having your own website, I think that's super important, and it's cool that you guys are embracing that too. I want to touch on what you said earlier, Mark, about your English content and your German content. That's something interesting to me because that's something that we don't really deal with here. But you guys have to,
lucky bastards.
Yeah, you guys probably, that's another dimension to it where you don't want to put out content that alienates fans, that made just like your German stuff, and then you don't want to. I mean, how do you guys navigate that fine line between your people who speak German and only German, and then people who speak English too? I mean, how do you guys do that?
Like we had a lot of discussions. I remember about whatever we talk in German or in English in our videos, and it was back and forth until we set a point and said, okay, whatever we put out now, it's in English, not in German. And I think it's crucial to do so, because if you combine, I don't know, it's not good for the English speakers. And I think a lot of Germans speak English anyway, so they understand you. But apart from that, what was the question?
Well, I'm glad that you guys do put content out in English, because I probably wouldn't have kept following you guys if it was in German. Unfortunately for me, but it's so I just find that really interesting, and how you guys talked about that and you decided, well, we're going to do English, and then just stick.
I think for us, it's a shitty decision short term, but long term, it's going to benefit us.
Yeah.
It's really difficult to put out content also in English, because it's not our mother tongue, and we are not like how we are in German, for example. This was one of the points we had in our minds, that it's really hard to be entertaining in another language that you don't speak, and it's not how we are. it's really
that's
fun.
Pretty close, but it's different, like the words we use and our humor and all that. It's pretty much the same, but it's not like identical.
There's a lot of nuances, I imagine.
We lose all of that. Kind of.
Yeah, we talked about it for a long time. Then we, kind of mixed it, and this content we put out in German, this in English, and we just had to make a decision, because we have to deal. It's different for you guys. We have to deal with. We're from Germany, but we want to reach out further than this. And obviously, and if you don't use English, you're kind of limiting yourself to the German area, which can also work, but we figure we're not that terrible at English that we can't try it at least, and so we decided, okay, let's just do it in English, even though it sucks. But at least after a year or two, we'll be used to it, and it will be almost as if we're talking German all the time. Then the humor and all the stuff that you usually only have in German is totally different, but then when we just do it and just push it and force ourselves to do it, maybe then we'll get used to it, and that will come out as well.
Also
You're
pretty
already-
sure that at some point we might have like a period where whatever on tour in Germany and we only speak German all the time.
Yeah.
That might be in German with English subtitles. That might happen, you know. But if
Yeah.
the people are interested enough, they will make it through
Yeah.
8 videos that are with subtitles. I mean,
Yeah, that's not the
Rammstein,
problem. But yeah,
Yeah, what I noticed, like a week ago, I think I watched our first video we did, our first vlog, and it's so funny how different we used to talk, and yeah, it's totally different.
I know, it's like you go back and you watch some of your early stuff. I can't stand watching some of my early stuff.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
stand, and you know, some of those I shot just last year, but you just progress so quickly the more you do it, right?
Yeah. And that's exactly the point. That's why you and we are doing it, to be able to like go back and check that stuff out and see like the evolution that we hopefully made until now. Or that's the point. And for other people as well, that they can go back and say, wow, this show was shitty 1 year ago, whatever. Now they're way better. What did they do in between?
Exactly,
So that's
exactly.
the point.
Yeah. Well, we're about hitting the hour mark, and I told myself I'd try to stay on schedule, but it's like the time goes by really quick, man. I really enjoy talking to you guys.
we have time, man.
Yeah,
It's
so
up to you.
Let me ask, what is your plan with completing your band? You know, finding a singer, and you guys don't have a bass player currently, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're missing a singer and a bass player,
player.
because that's what we had.
Yeah, bass
before.
player. We said like a bass player in metal is anyway not that important.
Nobody listens to the bass anyway, right?
It could offend Paul now.
But trust me, he's used to hearing that. So it's all good.
Yeah.
Well, we basically said the singer has prio, and
If we find a bassist, like we also jammed with a bassist from Hanover, and
it was cool.
like we're not like, oh no, we don't need a bassist. Like if someone pops up, of course.
Well, let's put it this way: we'll get one.
Yeah.
If the time comes
Yeah.
up, we have shows again.
Yeah.
We'll get one.
Yeah.
The thing is, the plan right now, all the focus band-wise is looking for a singer. We have someone we want to try out, but nothing more we can say at the moment, really.
Yeah.
And it's tough shit, man. Finding a good singer. We're also looking, like, in the States. If anyone's listening, you're a singer, you want to, maybe, I don't know, apply or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Just send us sound files. We'll check it out. And the location is not very not that important to us. It's more, can you sing, and can you record somewhere and send it over so we can finally finish the album. Gig wise, we can organize it, that people will plan a tour so that you can fly over and back, and we'll play 20 gigs or whatever.
We're even at this point that we just say whatever from anywhere. We just need a singer. Like we don't care.
We want someone that
has
that wants to sing also. I mean, preferably someone with a YouTube channel, but it doesn't really matter. Like if you are a singer and you want to sing and you want to sing in a metal band, that's what we're looking for at the moment. And you gotta have fun at what you're doing, and you gotta be relaxed a little bit, but also put in the work with us. And I don't know, man. It's just be cool. Don't be a dick.
Yeah,
basically.
It's really hard. It's really hard to find singers, man. And I always dreaded it, trying to complete the lineup with a great singer. But that's what's really cool about what you guys are doing, is that you're putting the open call to the world. I mean, it's not just your local town. I mean, you're looking for someone who could fill the spot anywhere, and that's what's really cool is. They don't have to live right there. You guys can still work on your album.
So everything comes together if you think about it. Like even the YouTube channel, like it helps finding someone maybe. Maybe a singer watches our stuff because he was searching for a metal vlog. And like you never know. Put yourself out, and I think this will maximize the chance that we will find someone.
Yeah, and with all the content that you guys put out, I mean, it's attractive to someone who's looking to work with the band and be like, wow, these guys, they got their shit together. Look at everything.
You can check us out, and maybe even think about it. Like, oh no, I don't want to play with them.
So many farts.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, like, we're ready to go. Like, just in case anyone is watching this, we're ready to go. We have the album almost, basically it's done. What is missing is the vocals.
Yeah.
And we've played over 140 shows all over Europe, and I would say we know kind of what we're doing. We're ready. It's just stupid that we don't have anyone who wants to fucking go with us, man. It's all ready. It's all there. We need someone that is also good enough. I mean, it's not like we can't find anyone. We've had a lot of things sent to us.
Yeah.
But you got to be honest. This is something for a long-term thing, and if it's just not good enough, or not, at least not what we're looking for, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Then it won't work, man. And it was probably like 10 people that we had to reject, but it's just send it over, and you never know. Maybe it's exactly what we're looking for, and it's nothing. We're not looking for the perfect singer, obviously, but just send us some stuff, and if it's what we're looking for, sure.
You'll never know unless they send it out. And,
yeah,
that's cool, man. Well, I definitely think that we should do this again. I really enjoy podcasting with you guys, and
sure, yeah,
talking more. I mean, like we could honestly, we have a lot of content and stuff to cover, so but I think we'll save that for another session.
Sounds good.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I really appreciate you guys talking to us, and with our podcast series, this is something new for us. You guys out there who are watching this, if you've made it this far, thank you. And to all the other bands out there that are thinking about podcasting, this is a great way to communicate with other bands and to other people, and hopefully gain fans. I mean, you guys have made us a fan of podcasting, that's for sure. So we're going to continue to do that.
Thanks.
Cool.
And everybody out there who follows Rock Bottom Brothers, please go check ETECC out. You guys are a great band to listen to, and a great band to watch online. Very entertaining. So definitely do that.
We hope so.
Yeah. So thank you guys for joining me, and thank you everybody to tuning in, and we'll see you guys soon, definitely. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Take care.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.